Hey everybody, I just wanted to post a quick video, try a different way to communicate with everybody for those who don't like to read the author's notes or you see it and you just think that it needs to be disregarded. I just wanted to quickly address what's happening with the reposting, and there are quite a few people who don't even know what happened because they never read the notes, or they had stopped using Wattpad for a while and came back when all the chapters were taken down. So I just want to tell you real quick. Basically, I stopped posting or stopped updating and writing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf when it became a little too stressful with the negativity that I faced from a lot of readers. It wasn't really about, a lot of people were confused that I was upset that people didn't like the Janie character, and that was really never the case. It was the personal attacks that were directed towards me and even my family, because I named a character after myself, and then people thought that Ryder was based on my husband, so I was just talking him up. And none of that was true. Janie's a character, Ryder's a character. Everybody, I obviously haven't gone through a lot of the things or done the things that Janie has done. I don't want to give away spoilers for those who don't know what she's done. But she's a significant part of the story, and she's not there to steal the light from Kylie. She's not a perfect character. She's more flawed than most of the characters that I've created, and she has a purpose there, and it is a main purpose. She's not put in the description for a reason, and you won't understand that until you get to the end of the story. And I'm not going to explain why, because you're reading the story, I'm taking you on a journey, and we're not in Kylie's point of view necessarily. It's being told from an outside point of view that knows Kylie's inner thoughts, and sometimes we get to see a completely outside source that a lot of people think that we're going into Logan's head, and I actually don't know if I have done that, where we know Logan's inner thoughts, but he's in a chapter where Kylie's not there. Sometimes there's third person where it's kind of like a movie, and you're only seeing what's going on, and so you just got to keep an eye on those things. Sometimes I do mess up and I slip in someone's head, and that's what I take care of in edits. But anyways, the negativity that came about in the harassment for, I was threatened and, called names. No matter what I did, how I tried to communicate with people that I don't care if you don't like characters or the way the story's going, or if you think I'm doing something wrong. It's wrong to attack a person, and it steals the magic from the author when people try to tell them too much how they're supposed to write the story, or that they're ruining the story by doing something, and you actually don't know what path the author intended to take you on. So I actually hated working on the chapter. I didn't like coming on Wattpad at all. I had a lot of support, and that was amazing, but when people are like, just ignore the negative. You can't ignore everything. You're going to have your bad days, and something that someone says is going to hit you a little bit, even if it's a kid that maybe 13 years old. I'm an adult. It shouldn't bother me, but even if my daughter says something to me, and like, it can be hurtful. And if you're having a really crappy day, and I spent hours and hours, days working on one chapter for some person to come along and tell me that I need to take a character out of the story, or I can have them and do this but I need to do this with them, or I need to make their own story. It wasn't fun. It was, I was a new mom again, and I didn't want to come and deal with a bunch of people who were just disrespectful. And when it happened, I started actually not enjoying the story I was creating. I stopped enjoying working with Logan and Kylie. And I'm not supposed to feel that way about my characters, even my bad characters. I shouldn't dislike having to come and write them. I should still enjoy what I'm doing, and I didn't. I had so many things, people were like, it's all about Janie, whatever, the author needs to get over herself, and she's better than Kylie, and actually, she's not. And if you pay attention to what's going on, it's perceived that way because you're seeing Kylie's reactions. So you always have to think about those things. And you're supposed to, but you don't go attack someone for that. And I wanted to, I had those moments where a certain comment or a message would just kind of set me off. And I was like, you know what? If this is what people think, then I'm going to go ahead and just ruin their day too. They're ruining my day. They're ruining my relaxing time with writing. And, so whatever. If this is what they think people are going to do, I'll do it. And I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. I always try to tell everybody, I know where the story's going, and I plan everything from the beginning to the end inside my head before I even start sharing or start writing the first sentence. I dreamt it all, not dreamt it, but thought it all out. I don't do outlines, but it's all there, so I know where I have to go. And but I was pushed to that brink where it's like, you know what? Let's go ahead and kill her. They think that all the people love Janie. Well, then fine. They'll go ahead and all love Janie, and we'll kill Kylie off, or we'll let Logan and Janie get back together. And a lot of times I joke about it, especially in the fan group, just to try to ease some of the stress. Just like, okay, just let me make a joke about it, get it out. But it was still, I couldn't do it. So I stepped back, and you guys saw me start writing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf shortly after I had Evangeline, which was in 2014. Late summer 2014 is when I started working on it. And, being a new mom again too, my not getting sleep and having 2 other kids as well. I had some issues with my son getting bullied. He's autistic, so too many combinations of things just all unfolded on me. And I stepped back and decided to work on my plan of publishing Gods and Monsters. And when I got to the point where I was like, I felt a little passion for Logan again. I didn't resent him. I didn't resent Kylie as much. So I tried to start working on it and decided to start posting again on Wattpad. And then there was a security issue on Wattpad. And they've had things before. I'm sure you guys have seen emails where it tells you change your password immediately. Something happened, and I was made aware of it not by Wattpad, but by other authors who found out what was going on. A foreign website it was kind of like a mirror website, so every story was being displayed through this foreign website, and I have no idea how people even found out about it. But the problem was first it was in a different language, but you could easily translate it. And once it was translated, people's entire stories were at risk. You could go and copy. I tested it myself on my story. I copied, which is a feature that Wattpad has where you can't go and just highlight and copy and paste. This one would allow you to copy, allow you to print. So essentially, people could go and on the other side of the world where I have no idea what's going on, they could have published my story, put their name on it. Even if they're saying that people are like, well, they're just sharing it and you're sharing it for free. They're making money off of it. Wattpad makes money off of its readers. And we're, as an author, you're on Wattpad, you're agreeing to those terms, but you're not agreeing to the terms for someone else to distribute, share, or sell your work. I had to make a choice. It makes you feel sick to your stomach when I had some plagiarism issues where people were copying the story on Wattpad, changing point of views, changing character names, but essentially it's still the same story being told, and or it was changed enough that really there was nothing I could do, but people were like, yeah, I was inspired by your story, and I realized that I was basically just copying it. And a few people apologized, and it even got to the point where I didn't even contact people anymore. And but with that, you feel sick no matter what happens, and I know it's something that people run into no matter what. But I had to make a decision, and my decision was to protect my work. And in doing that, I chose to take it off Wattpad, along with my other stories. I had been working on Gods and Monsters, the first book. The 2 other books are already written, and they were on Wattpad for 2 years. And I pulled those books 2 and 3 down, as well as The Wolf Prince, which was a prequel spinoff of Gods and Monsters that was posting before Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf. And so I just took them down. And that's just security for making sure that someone doesn't come along, because almost the entire story of Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf was up. We got up to Kylie's birthday, which was a big climactic point, and I didn't want someone just to come along and publish something, because even though the issue was fixed, Wattpad, it took weeks for them to get it resolved, but there's always that risk. And since I wasn't working on it, I would have, just had the work up there for anybody to go and do what they wanted to do. And the story got taken down. I still get messages everywhere saying, hey, I stopped reading on Wattpad for a while. What's going on, Janie? And I have so many messages, guys. I can't do it all and contact you. But the story has been offline. Over half of the story has been off Wattpad for a while. And when I started publishing with Gods and Monsters, I expected to be able to work on Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf soon. And then that got pushed back because of an editing issue. My editor quit, and I paid them half, the part that I'm supposed to pay them to get them started. And without any communication or anything like that, they just stopped abruptly, returned it, and said, start over. You need to go through and edit again. They treated it as though it had never been read by another person. And I had already had thousands of reads. I'd reached a 1 million view count on book 1. And it was just an editor that wasn't fit for me. But I had to start over anyways. And that's when I started reposting Gods and Monsters with the intent to pick up a beta team. And I had. And, but it pushed back the plans for Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf. Gods and Monsters is out now, if you didn't know that. I know a lot of people are curious about Gods and Monsters, but they didn't want to start it without me finishing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf first. But it's published. It came out the 27th was the Kindle date, and the 24th was the paperback date. If you want to see it real quick, let me show it to you. So that's it. It's 400 and something pages, 55,000-ish words. It's really pretty. But yeah, and that's available on Amazon, and Barnes and Noble's also finally got it up on their website. And there's possibilities that can go in bookstores and stuff like that, but I don't get told. I'm not like a big seller, so in bookstores, they're not gonna put my books on their shelves until it's a promising thing. But anyways, you can go. There's actually links on my profile that will take you there, or you can go to my website that has a little more information. The Facebook page has giveaways as well as Instagram. and it's doing really well, actually, considering that I published it all on my own, with some help from another Wattpad author who published self-published herself, and it's ranking like 5 stars on Amazon, and in the number, between 5 and 10 ranking on its genre. So that's pretty cool, because I didn't expect that. But anyways, the plan changed because of how late the book came out when it was originally supposed to. It was supposed to come out in the fall, and I was already supposed to be way into book 2, getting it off to the editor. I'm not. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to learn. I have kids. Like, I'm recording this right now at 2 a.m. because Evie just went to sleep, and that's how my time goes. I'm working on book 2 with the beta readers, and I had announced in the update, if you look on your table of contents on Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, there's an author's note titled A Grim Valentine. And it was a fun author's note the way I do them. Some people like them, some people don't. But it explained what was going on. I'm going to do books. I did book 1. I'm doing book 2 right now. I expect it to be published, hopefully. It did say fall, but I'm going to try to do mid to late summer if I can. And then, but once it's off to the editor, I'm going to, instead of working on book 3 for God's Monsters, the final book for that trilogy, I'm going to finish Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, get that to the editor, and then I'll go back to do the finale on Gods and Monsters. And that's simply for the Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf community on Wattpad that has been waiting, has been, I've lost so many readers from whether it was the Janie issue or people upset with how I handled myself regarding the criticism, or just lack of updates and removing the story. I used to have around 500,000 people coming in every update, and now that number's drastically dropped, and that's just the price I paid for what what my choices were, and that's my thing. But to say thank you to you guys who still message me, who still follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, who send me sweet messages, the ones that I can see at least, because I have to put filters up because my notifications are too overwhelming for being a mom, and then I have my own people in my life trying to communicate me, and I can't even see messages a lot of the time. But still, this is my thank you to you guys for staying supportive and patient. And whoever quit reading or who got upset with me, if they come back, they come back. If they don't, they don't. And I'm trying my best. You are now seeing a repost of the unedited chapters. So I haven't worked on it much at all once I started hardcore editing on Gods and Monsters. So you're seeing the repost of the original rough draft, and rough draft is rough draft. You're seeing me pour everything out. It'll change once it gets edited. There will be new scenes. There will be scenes cut. It goes through a huge change. Those people who read Gods and Monsters, there was 3 drafts on Wattpad, and then now there's a published draft, and each one had something different to it. It's still the same story, same plot, all that. Character personalities shift a little bit, development shifts a little bit, but the story stays the same, but it changes. And I forgot what I was saying. I'm so tired. I'm reposting. I reposted 3 chapters yesterday, and I wasn't planning on doing another one until next month, but I'm doing this one because I wanted to get this video out, because I noticed I did peek and see what was happening, if people were actually coming back to read. And I saw some confusion still. And so what happened is the chapters that I pulled down will go up once a month after this update. And we'll eventually get all the way up to where I left off the first time around, which was Kylie's birthday, which was fun. All those who got to read it, don't spoil it for people. But when I'll be finishing my editing on Gods and Monsters 2, and then I'm diving full on into completing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf. And what you'll see is every month, one of the unedited chapters will repost. That's actually, a lot. Those of you who read frequently on Wattpad, that's probably more than a lot of authors that you read from if you don't read completed stories. I have a couple that I was reading reading back when I still had time to read, and they still don't update for like every 6 months or so. So once a month, please don't complain about it. Be happy about it. When we get all the way to Kylie's birthday again, the new chapters, hopefully I will have gotten them completed, and it will be at the editor. But you won't see what the edited, because the whole story has to be edited. So you won't see the edited story, but you'll see the rough draft finale. So some things won't make sense because of how things will have changed, because I can't go and rewrite 2 stories of the same story. And so you'll just get the rough draft version on Wattpad, and that'll be like a countdown to its publishing, which my thoughts are that will be either winter, so December 2017, but more realistically, the way things come down to edits and any pushbacks I have with Gods and Monsters that happen, I would say you would be closer to like a Valentine's, so February. And I'm doing the best I can, and I hope everybody sticks around that's hung out this whole time. I think you will. Those who know some of the stuff about Gods and Monsters connecting to Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, I do recommend, not just because I want to share the Gods and Monsters world with you guys, but there are so many people who message me that Kylie's story has helped them through dark times, but they haven't peeked at Jane's story. Jane is not Janie. Jane and Janie share like a character soul in a sense. If you read Jane's story in Gods and Monsters, I wrote her as a grieving, healing process for me. So you're actually reading, she's like my spirit animal, I guess you could say. And if you are one of those people that you're hurting and you think that Kylie is the one to come and get you through things, just to help you escape. Jane is older, she's 26, that's not too old. And the setting is in an apocalyptic setting, and there's supernatural beings and things like that. So it's not the same world, but the connections that I've made, because the stories are tied to me, and I wanted them that way. I have to have them that way. And you will pick up things and understand things on a whole new level, as well as connect with Jane. There's very few people who can't connect in some way to her. So not trying to push her on you guys, but I like to, because I used to get a lot of messages, people wanting advice for how to deal with mental health issues, and I'm not a mental health professional, but I admit I'm bipolar. I have depression and extreme anxiety that people don't really accept. They think that I'm Janie, the character, how she comes off. At least what you are seeing right now. When you get further in the story, you're like, oh my god, this her character is not a happy character. But anyways, the healing process. I don't even know if that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. And this is taking longer than I thought it would. I thought I would do a quick video, and it's 25 minutes already. But go read them. The people who have either started with the Gods and Monsters world and went into Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, they're like snickering at a lot of the frustration that the Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf readers are getting, or because they know my style. They know, well, why are people getting so upset? They know that I write a certain way and everything gets answered, so you don't have to. You can be stressed, but trust me that your questions are going to get answered, that you're going to understand why Janie's there, why Ryder is described as an he's not he might not appeal to you, his personality, but you'll understand why his physical features are described as, no matter what, even Kylie thinks he's gorgeous, even on a different level from Logan. But that gets a whole new meaning if you learn who Ryder's character soul is in Gods and Monsters. And it's kind of like going on an Easter egg hunt. If you go back out in the yard or the field, you might find another one unexpectedly. So while you're waiting, if you want to go on to start that journey with Jane, go ahead and just go start it. And it's available, the whole thing, and it's pretty polished version. And it's also one of those books, people have read Gods and Monsters more than I have, and that's crazy. I have people who've read it over 10 times, and it's just a whole new level of thinking with that one. And once you get into complete Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, there's a lot of this is why she was doing that. But you don't have to. So don't feel like, why is this author pressuring me? I don't know why people always get upset that an author's happy about their other work. It's not pressuring you. It's just, if you're enjoying the story, you usually want to go on to more adventures that person can bring you. So this is just me telling you, go ahead and start it. Get in on those giveaways. I know that cost is an issue for people in some places. I'm going to be doing giveaways throughout the time. There'll be times when the story, like a Kindle copy, and you don't need Kindles to read on Kindle. So there's an app that's available for Android, iPhones. I have it on my iPhone and on my Mac. There's even one for the PC. All you need to do is download, and it's a free app. And so you're actually missing out on a lot of stories, because there's a lot of stories sometimes on Amazon that you could just get for free. And so go download the app, search your app store, or go to Amazon and type in Kindle app. But there will be sales days. So social media, follow me there. The links are on my profile. Instagram and Facebook are where I'm most active. It's just easy for me to go, and I'm usually just silly with everybody. And you just get to see a different side of me that I can't express. Some people like that, some people don't. It's up to you. You could just go and get the news and move on. I have a website, JanieMarieBooks.com. I'll try to update it as often as I can. My Wattpad profile usually has, for the most part, current information. So if you have a question, usually something's answered there, or an author's note. if you have an immediate kind of question, the Facebook fan group, people will post in there, and I have it set where I have to approve the postings. So no matter what, I'll see your message there, and I can hopefully respond or even approve it if I'm busy. And then I know another reader's going to come along and answer your question. On Instagram, comment. Don't message me. Don't direct message me. The filters, like I said, I have too many messages from people, and I would go insane trying to respond to everybody. So a lot of times I don't see your message. It goes into a separate mailbox. I don't know if you've ever done that with your features. You're going to filter it, and so it doesn't even pop up on your phone or anything. So I won't know. And I've had people get upset thinking that I'm being rude, that I don't answer them. I'm not being rude. I just don't even see it. And I'm doing, 100 other things that you people don't understand. Like I said, it's 2:30 right now. I'm up and I should be asleep. But this is my free time. That's how busy I am as a mom, as a wife. I homeschool my son, and Evangeline is just a constant. She's 2.5. Life's hard for me, so give me a break. I'm trying my best to please you guys, and I appreciate those who are always supportive. But go get on that stuff. If you know somebody who used to read the story, but they got so frustrated that they stopped following me, but you know that they'd like to return to see the rest of the story, let them know what's going on, or direct them to a video or to Facebook. And like I said, all those links are on my profile. And the mailing list too. The mailing list, people will get exclusive content when I can write it. There's no promises on a monthly newsletter or anything like that. But those of you who like my author's notes, you'll see something when I have time to write it. The people who had subscribed got a Christmas short story part 1, and it was Logan's point of view, and but it was a bizarro type universe. None of the girls were there except for Janie, the author's note Janie, which is kind of like me writing myself in. That's the only time you'll ever see me write myself in. But even then I act like a fool, and the rules change. Like you're just seeing a fun thing if I were to step into the world with my characters. Those are the only times that people were like, I was confused until you wrote yourself in. I only write myself in on author's notes or fun things. But those will go out to those people. And that link is also on my profile or on my website or on my Facebook. And you can just sign up. So people who don't like to follow someone, whether you just kind of hold a grudge against someone, you can go and sign up if you're just one of those who wants to know what the big news. So you would know firsthand when Gods and Monsters publishes, or a big sale that's going on, or Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, if you just want to wait until the final version comes out and you can just go buy it. So go do that. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now because I talked too long, and I'm sorry. Any questions, do it on Facebook, but please keep supporting. If you can go support Gods and Monsters, please do so, even if you can't afford to buy it or don't want to buy it. If you're following me on Instagram or Facebook, go like and share the posts, because there's some people out there that actually have the same effects with Jane that you have with Kylie and Logan, and that's just a cool thing to spread along, because it's been that's the reason why I continue to write and continue to share, because of the amount of people who told me that the writing saved them in some way. And it was neat to know that it wasn't just me that benefited from Jane, that people across the world were benefiting from her. And it's the same thing happening with Kylie. So share it. And that enthusiasm will help me get to finish and be really excited when I do come back to Kylie and Logan. All right. Good night, guys. And I will post another chapter in April. I don't know what date, but I'll post it. And it's an unedited chapter. So every month, unedited chapter. All right. Good night.